probably maybe a month ago, some people panic. When they look at the roster, you have maybe 6, 7 guys. You have some guys come back, and then you had some guys. How do you feel going into July?
Well, you know, it was if fans were panicking, you can imagine how we were around here too. So, though you know, the best 3 players we could ever sign were Doak, Devon, and Silvio. So, and you add that to the 3 that we got, and then you get in the span of a week you get something in. No, I'm doing it. You get obviously Jalen and Isaiah. You're right. Obviously Jalen and Isaiah, which I think are both immediate help. So it's about as good as I think that we could. Jalen, you're this way, bud. Yeah. You'll figure it out. So I think it's as good as we could have ever hoped for with our roster. You know, we missed out on some kids that's been fairly well talked about and documented throughout this past year that we were 1 or 2 with or whatever, and they elected to do something else. But in the end, we ended up getting what we had to get. So I'm pretty pleased with that.
When Beeline left, did you have a pretty good feel that you guys would be in a good position at least?
I did until we spoke. But after we spoke, I thought we'd be in good shape. You know, we've known Jalen a while, and to be real candid with you, he committed earlier than we wanted him to commit, and we didn't do a great job the first time around after we knew that he was, wanting to do something early. So what's up, stud? So we knew we made a mistake by not being more aggressive earlier in the deal, but fortunately we had a chance to make up for it. So.
You had said that you wanted to hit you needed to hit maybe a double in recruiting. Do you feel like you guys hit that?
Did I say that?
Yeah, at the end of your banquet.
In the banquet?
Yeah.
I think we probably did better than that. Because at the banquet time, we didn't know about Silvio. We didn't know about Doak and Devon for sure. And then, of course, didn't have any clue, I don't believe, about Isaiah or Jalen at that time, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think at that time, though, we still had a possibility maybe to get Matt or Cassius, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Right around then. And so when we didn't get those, but to be able to get the experience and the size that, and the need for shooters, I think that's about as good as we can do.
What do you think of these freshmen that are here? And I mean, how much will you lean on those guys?
I don't know. I think they're all good players. Yeah. You know, we went from having, I think, 6 or 7 for sure, to having, you had, if it's, I guess it would be 7, then you had the 3 coming back, and then you had the 2. So, there was a time where the 7, I thought all those guys would definitely be rotation guys, at worst. Now, I still think they'll all be rotation guys. I think they're good players. I think we got to figure out some things with a minute standpoint that which may be a situation we didn't think we'd have to deal with. But hey, they've all been good to me. I mean, I don't think we don't have a Wiggins or maybe an Oubre or a McLemore or a Jackson in the group, but we got these guys are going to be really good college players.
I've seen David take a step forward this offseason.
Best, most improved guy on our team, hands down. His athletic ability has improved, and I know that's not easy to do in a short amount of time, but he's much more explosive, and his shooting ability is really improved. And I don't know if that'll translate day to day, but he's a guy that he can make a 17-footer. He's our best big shooter without question right now, unless you include Jalen. Jalen would be our best shooter.
What does Jalen do for you? Get to him.
Well, I've only seen him once, since he's been here, but he gives us size, he gives us toughness, and he gives us skill. I mean, he's not going to wow you like some people may think, like Josh could from an athletic standpoint and quick twitch standpoint, but he just knows how to play. He's a winner, and I think his ability to shoot the ball is probably as good, close to as good as anybody on our team, and to have that as a guy that's potentially a bad matchup for. At least at times during the game, I think is going to be real important to us.
You've said toughness a couple of times with him. Is it mental, physical, both?
I think I would say right now probably physical more because I don't know the mental stuff yet, but I think he's got both. Yeah. I think he's got both. I think he's a tough kid.
More so than your average freshman coming
absolutely.
in?
Yeah, absolutely. he likes the competitiveness of it. You know, a lot of guys can claim they're that, but they've never really been in the trenches competing. He's a guy that you can just tell likes it. So you know, you could make a case for Gary, you know, 6 years ago, being ultra competitive, but maybe not knowing certain situations. Then you see him yesterday, and you see what a guy that's really competing does. And competing is just not all about harder, faster, tougher. It's about strategy and playing to win and taking advantage of mistakes or whatever, or eliminating them. And I think Jalen gets that. I don't think all freshmen do at an early age.
Did you end up getting to talk to him yet?
Text with him, yeah, he texted with me. He said we'd have drinks soon, and I said, you're not going to have to buy one for several months. So, which is true. He shouldn't have to buy one for a long time. Not that you guys care about this, but I think it's one of the coolest things that's happened to Kansas athletics, because you know, golf's a sport that all alumni and donors can identify with, because everybody at some point in time has played it, or hopes to play, and they can play it till they're, you know, 70, 75 years old. And so I think that everybody is really proud because they can identify with what he does. And even with football, not everybody played football, or even or basketball or whatever, or baseball, but golf, people are connected, and I think that'll do wonders for him personally. I think it'll do wonders for raising money for Down syndrome kids. I think it'll do wonders for obviously his individual and personal career. But it's just a cool story. What makes it so neat is you go from a situation where nobody thought he'd win, and then nobody, after they thought he might win it, I'm sure the television networks were hoping he didn't, and it comes out to be a cooler story than even if Brooks had won. And of course Brooks was obviously fantastic himself. So yeah, it's really neat.
You get to watch most of it yesterday.
Didn't miss a shot.
Didn't miss a shot.
Yeah, don't tell the campers that, or the parents. I did not miss one shot yesterday, or the day before, You know, so yeah, it was great. I felt like I was nervous because I felt like I was actually doing something, because I was nervous, just like a lot of people were watching it, because when you got that dude chasing you down, and he's on fire, you know, you got to really man up, and he did. There's no question.
How many rounds you played with him? Any idea?
Just a couple.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's the best deal though. The first time I played with him, we're playing number one. You guys all know number one at LCC, except for Gary. He right now. but we all play one, and you know, it's a 365-yard hole. He landed on the green and made a 20-footer for two. And I'm thinking, he played that as a par three. I mean, 360. I mean, unbelievable. So it was a little bit different. He had a different gear that nobody else can get to.
Did he hit driver?
Yeah, he hit driver. Yeah, he hit. Don't give him that much credit.
Everybody good?
With all this talent, what about redshirting?
No, I don't know.
Do you envision some guys?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know though, Gary.
That's all the fans care about now, that you filled the roster. Who's going to sit out?
Well, nobody has to sit out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we'll do, if anything, with that. But it's, and you say with all this talent, I don't know that I would go as far as all this talent. I would say with all the numbers, because you guys would think no matter who was on scholarship, it would be a talented group, because that's just how recruiting is reported around here. But I do think this is going to be a good group. I really do. I think they got a chance to be, you know, maybe a pro or two in the group. So
What about the NBA draft, Vic and Diedrich?
yeah, I don't know enough on Legero to comment on what people are probably saying. I know that he's had several workouts, and I think he has had some really good workouts and shot it well. But I don't know how that translates to pick. But with Diedrich, I do believe that, you know, he's obviously got a better than average chance of being picked. I just hope I told he and his family yesterday, I just hope it's a situation where it's a right fit, you know, because so often if you go in the second round, you go to a team that's already got 13 guaranteed contracts, and now you're looking at being a two-way or whatever, best case scenario. So, which may not be bad, but I hope he's in the right situation as much as anything.
They haven't changed the rule where he could come back, have they? If
you
you,
go
if you don't
non-drafted?
get grafted, they're probably gonna change that rule sometime.
Maybe that to my knowledge that hasn't been changed yet. So they had to pull out by May 29th.
Yeah.
But that's not happening. So don't try to tease anybody that's going to happen, because that's not going to happen.
All right, Coach.
Wait,
Let's go.
Coach,
Yep.
One more.
what was your reaction watching Woodland's birdie putt on the 18th?
I was actually I sat in my chair and didn't get up, and literally for about 3 hours or 3.5 hours, and then after he teed off and hit in the fairway on 18, I actually knew it was over. So I didn't have much of a reaction on that. I was much more excited on the 3-wood on 14 and the chip on 17, and I was really excited when Koepka flew it right over the flagstick on 18,
Yeah.
but it ran through
Yeah.
to the rough, so that would have been a next to impossible chip
Yeah.
from there. So I hate to pull against anybody, but I was really thankful that that ball didn't stop on the green, because if it had, he'd been putting the tie.
Eagle, right.
But I was more excited on the chip on 17 than the putt.
Do you have any reacts to last week's NCAA news?
There was absolutely no NCAA news last week, based on what I read, except obviously a spokesperson spoke about what he thought was going to happen, and I don't want to. How can I say this? I was shocked to read something that something could be said that was not specifically intended for anyone, but it made all 20 schools that were mentioned in the FBI deal and their fan base feel like it was. So no, I got no comment on it, because only he knows what exactly he meant by what he said. So except the fact that he said that the schools will definitely be served this summer, which I guess that could be very well true. I just think that to predetermine what's going to happen before investigations are done, I think that comes pretty strong. But I don't have no knowledge of who he was talking about or anything like that. But certainly the fan bases of all the people that was mentioned, I'm sure, are very interested in what he meant by that.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach.